Welcome to another episode, everyone. This is part 2 of the Inglewood Bloods assemble a $6 million robbery crew and go on a mission in the greater Los Angeles area. When we left off, these individuals were leaving their blood at the crime scene as they're busting out the windows. Their hands are starting to leak and they're leaving their blood. They're leaving masks as well at the crime scene, inside of cars. The feds are hot on these individuals' trail. Now, two of the main characters have just gotten out of jail and they rejoined the crew. And though the feds are hot on their trail, they continue their mission. It is not just the Inglewood Bloods. In fact, the title says that it's the Inglewood Inglewood Gangster Family Bloods. But it's more than just them. They have Crips there. They have dudes from all kinds of different hoods. They have assembled as they go on this mission. You have to go to part 1 and catch up on what's going on. But I'll pick it up where these dudes got out of prison, jail, and they're continuing on their mission. But the feds, again, are hot on their trail. This is rap news and street politics. I made that clear when I reacted to the video the first time and the second time and the third time. I said it was, not only did I say it was rap news and street politics, I said that I liked him, that he's very informed, that he does his homework. Gave him a major shout out. Someone still got in the comments and said, man, give him a shout out to the person that you reacted to the video. I'm convinced a lot of these dudes are just slow. What video are you watching? I said it. I know I said it. Pay attention.
But while they working, they had another crew separate from everybody in this situation who was seemingly watching them. Another crew hit South Coast Plaza, Orange County Mall, in the same fashion, smash and grab, getting off with 133 Rolex watches worth more than $2 million. And police find a Chevy Impala about a mile away from the scene abandoned. Again, same mask, same MO, sweatshirts. So you know what the time bandits had to do, man. They couldn't let these niggas one-up them. A couple days later, January 22nd, 2016, 4 p.m., they in Woodland.
And right there, he's referring to a situation where the so-called time bandits, where these individuals had went to go hit a lick. They were smashing the glass with the sledgehammers. This is their MO. But 3 individuals got scared, got cold feet, and left the sledgehammers and ran out. They never did hit the lick. Another crew who apparently have been watching these dudes, who know what kind of stuff that they do or whatever, they went to that same store. They said, well, y'all got cold feet. Y'all did not hit the lick. We're going to go hit the lick. And we're not going to get cold feet. We're going to be successful. They went behind them after they ran out. They went behind them and hit the lick and got 133 Rolexes worth $2 million. The other crew did. So these dudes are saying, oh, no, they didn't went and hit our lick and one-upped us. They just went and hit a lick for $2 million. And that was our lick that we was on first. Now, we can't let that stand. We got to one-up them. If they just went and hit for $2 million, we got to show them that we're the best robbery crew. So now they're on a mission.
Hills at Mind Your Jewelry. Now, this is when a popular dude in Inglewood gets into the play. A dude named Daggum, an individual that sadly lost his life, I believe on the same day Draco lost his life, where he was killed in Inglewood off La Brea in 2021. Now, Daggum had connections to GIs. GIs told Dent to take Daggum on the move because he has a clean look. Now, Daggum, a real Inglewood dude before Dent came around and all that shit, this was a young homie over there. And Daggum, because of the clean look, he's able to get closer into the store. He pops in as the scout, saying that he saw Rolexes in the spot. Now, GIs suggested that they take Daggum on the move, on the full move, but I don't think they ended up going through with that. Now, along with Daggum, Baldy and Dent also went to scout this situation out. And Calloway, 2 months after going down with his DNA being found at 2 other robbery scenes, is back on the move, going inside. Now, because of what they seen with the security guard, they needed a weapon, but everybody was complaining about not wanting the weapon in the same whip as the jewelry and all that shit. So they had Concrete transport the firearm, and Baldy drove the players to the scene this time. Now, along with Bones Calloway, some unnamed individuals popped in the mania jewelry, and the female employee saw them come and hit the panic button. She's on the phone with the owner of the jewelry store telling them they being robbed. Bones Calloway put the pistol to her head and tell her to hang that shit up and lay her down. And they ended up hitting for 3 Rolexes, a Rolex Oyster, a date yacht, and a Rolex Oyster Perpetual Date Just with the limited edition blue dial. They hit for 1 Omega and some other jewelry, overall coming out with approximately $200,000 in jewelry out of Woodland Hills. Now, like I said, Tony Gold, the main buyer in this, I've spoke about buyers in our previous videos about these dudes at one point are gonna fold. That's just what it is. They're not really a part of the game. They're taking advantage of niggas, hitting people over the head with the prices, and when shit go bad, they go bad. Now, everything hasn't blown up yet, but Tony Gold is somewhat becoming more distant with Daryl. And he has a middleman meeting with Daryl, not really dealing with him and answering his calls properly, but they ended up getting the jewelry to him, and they ended up bringing about 12 to 15 racks total, which came out to about 3 racks apiece. And this was the first successful.
And that's the problem. As you will see in part 1, for those who didn't check out part 1, go and check it out. These individuals are hitting these licks, coming up with $300,000 worth of jewelry, $1 million worth of jewelry, whatever it is, in this case, $200,000. And the individuals who are buying it from them on the street, the individuals who they are hawking this jewelry to, are giving them pennies on the dollar. It's not like they can take it somewhere and sell it to another jewelry store or what have you. Sometimes this stuff be tracked. They track the jewelry, etc. They're trying to just get rid of this stuff. The whole point is to get the money for it. But there it is. They just hit for $200,000 worth of jewelry and end up with $12,000 to $15,000. Damn. You know, you would think you at least get half, something close to half, close to 70,000. Something. If it's $200,000 worth of stuff, if you're not gonna give me 100,000, then damn, 60, 12,000. And 50, it's 12,000, and it's 4 or 5 individuals. It's not worth it. You're going in there, risking your life. The feds on you hard now. They watching you because you're leaving your blood on the scene, your DNA. You're leaving your mask at the scene, with your DNA on it. The feds are on to you. You're driving around in your own cars. They pushing a red Tahoe. The other individuals were from West Boulevard and Black Peastone wearing a white Tahoe. What is it with these Tahoes? But it's not worth it at the end of the day. You ended up with $2,000 or $3,000. You're going in there putting guns to people's heads and this and that, risking life in prison. And then you ended up with $2,000 or $3,000 by the time you hawk it's $700,000 worth of jewelry and you get $50,000. Man, no.
Robbery that G.I.'s was a part of now that he was out fresh into the streets. And when he touched this money, this is when the robberies start to ramp up. These dudes seemingly was on a robbery once a week after this. So that was January 22nd, February 7th pull up, Super Bowl Sunday, 11:30 in the morning, another Ben Bridge in Thousand Oaks. Now, Brown Eyes Kenneth Paul, who again was around in 2014, is back on the scene. J-Bone is back in the fold. The usual, Baldy is present, and Dent goes with the 3 of them to scout Ben Bridge out. Now, they were initially going to scout Ulysses Harden because when they scouted Ben Bridge previously, there was a security kiosk outside of the spot. Now, when they went back, the security kiosk was gone, so they said this was the spot. Now, the runners inside, J-Bone and Brown Eyes, set to be the torpedoes, one with the hammer, one grabbing. Jeremy Tillett, Widget, employed as the driver because he had his own vehicle. We also got G.I.'s and Concrete. G.I.'s planning with Dent on the back.
And as you can see, there are a lot of people on this lick. That's what I was saying in part 1. It's a whole list of individuals here, and they're not splitting that much money. And in one of the situations, there is turmoil inside of this crew right here because they had hit a lick for $330,000 or something. It was way more than that. It was a couple of million, but their take was $330,000. But the planner got $130,000, and someone else got as little as $15,000, all on the same lick. How are we on the same lick? And you get $130, and I get $15. So they're having acrimony as it is, inside of the crew. You have all of these individuals who have to split this money. They're all from different gangs, a lot of them. You can't trust each other. When the stuff goes bad and starts hitting the fan, they're going to start telling on each other, guaranteed. Turning on one another, guaranteed. So this is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. This video. This is not encouragement on to rob anyone or trying to teach you how to rob these individuals. This is really how not to rob. These individuals are making massive mistakes in every one of these scenarios, and it's going to catch up with all of them as it typically does. Find another way to get your money. There's many ways to do it. This is not one.
Again, outside of the play, and Concrete being the switch car driver. Charles Mays being the lead car to lead Concrete back safely to the spot where the handoff of the bag goes to Dent. This time, the stolen car that they use, black Suburban, and these Chevys keep showing up. So 11:30 Super Bowl Sunday morning, a female of Ben Bridge is on the phone with her daughter, telling her the chicken wing recipe for the Super Bowl party, when Brown Eyes and J-Bone pop in with a Spanish accent and say this is a robbery. They get her off the phone and do their business, hitting for 37 Rolexes, making out with a retail value of $300,000. Now everything made it into Dent's hands from Concrete properly, and Dent took him to the buyer. The buyer comes back with an offer of $35,000, about 10% of the retail value. When G.I.'s hears this, he says no. And this is what I talk about with Bogart politics and things like that. Shit be getting tricky. G.I.'s been sitting down this whole time. They've been taking what they needed. You know what I'm saying? And this is what I talked about with these play extenders. Now he says no. He wants the jewelry to come to his crib. Not only you drive from Thousand Oaks to West Hollywood, you're supposed to leave the merchandise there. The jeweler had to take the merchandise wherever he took it to assess it. They asked for the jewelry back. Now you got to take it from West Hollywood to 84th and Western. That's a play extender. This shit should have been over, especially for what happened afterwards. G.I.'s gets it, separates all the jewelry, he assesses it, and he figures out 35 was the accurate number and to go ahead and take the offer. Now they got to drive it back to West Hollywood and take the 35. Jeremy Tillett, Widget ended up getting 7 bands.
And this is what happens when you're involved in these crews. There's a hierarchy. As we can, Green Eyes, again, you have to check out part 1. Green Eyes, he went to jail. And he just got out of jail. He's not been a part of this crew for a while. This is really his crew. He helped assemble this crew. He put the crew together, or what have you. He's partially for that, allegedly. But he went to jail. And they were still functioning and thriving on their own, this crew, and doing what they had to do and accepting whatever money that they had to accept. He gets out. They go hit a lick. He wasn't involved in it, but he's the planner and he's assembled this crew and all of this. And they hit for however many Rolexes and got a buy for him, $35,000. Get rid of this stuff. That's the whole point. Get rid of this stuff. That's why you shouldn't be trying to, not for no jury. Cold hard cash, man. Cold hard. You get $1 million worth of jury, you end up with $30,000. No. Just go and get $1 million. You're going to be doing something, do it for cold hard cash, but don't do anything at all. And he telling them, nah, man, $35,000 ain't going to get it. Bring me the stuff. Bring me the jury. Let me determine what it is. Bro, you ain't did nothing. You about to get a cut of this $35,000 as it is. He's the individual that already got $130,000 for one of the licks just for being a planner. So he's too controlling. They got to take another chance, put the jury in the car, and drive it over there to him on 84th and Western, he said. I lived on 84th and Western before. That's not an area you want to be driving in. Especially with no jury like that. You done lost your mind. And he got them driving over there with all the stuff. They get pulled over, they're done, they're cooked. Only to get over there and for him to say, oh, okay, that's cool, 35 was cool. Take it back and get the 35. Man, that's why you just got to do stuff by yourself. These dudes crazy.
seconds, along with pretty much everybody else that was on the play, which was a fair move. G.I. said he wanted everybody's pay to line up. No funny business, but he falls out with Concrete because he accused Concrete of keystering the watch. He said he think a watch is missing, and Concrete, being the car that drives the watch to Daryl, was the lone suspect. So G.I.'s Concrete fall out. G.I.'s fires Concrete from Hoover, terminates his contract, and he said it really stems from his bad judgment and mishandling the work. Remember, Concrete had Junior Manchester throw out hundreds of $1,000s of watches on the 405. So this is what led to Concrete getting his contract expired. But 10 days later, here they are at West Time Jewelers in West Hollywood. This time, Tiny Bogey's the lead. Now at this time, as you see, these dudes are on quite a run, and some things start to change up. You know, dudes out here busting side missions. Daryl Dent had got out for a side robbery. He was out on bond. Some other dudes had active warrants, and some things started to change up. Daryl opted not to drive anymore in his own vehicle. He wanted to ride with people. So when they started plotting on West Time and West Hollywood, he rode with Baldy to scout the location. Tiny Bogey, again, was the lead on this one. He had some little females that he recruited to scout, sent the females inside to assess the inventory. E-Mac, chosen for guard control again with the stick. And
you really asking for trouble. They really gonna tell once you get caught up, once they get caught up. They're gonna threaten to take their kids, and you're going to be on death row. They getting desperate. Dude don't want to drive anymore. They didn't kick the dude off the crew talking about he took a watch. Man, they in there hitting for 1 million watches. And you not doing any of it. And he done kicked him off the crew because he think he done pocketed a watch. So they're in shambles right now. The whole crew is in shambles. I see the writing on the wall.
Jay Stone, again, top recruiter, got them young dudes from Hoover as the runners. Now, Jay Stone was trying to separate himself from the situation in terms of taking a more leadership position. Like I said, a lot of the older dudes was trying to kick back like Green Eyes and Dent and just send dudes off. So Jay Stone had to drive on this play. He didn't really want to do it, upset about it. He felt like it was too risky. But many times on many different robberies, Tiny Bogey, like I said, the on-site manager, was the one in niggas' ears really pressing the issue about what role they was going to play. So the play was supposed to jump off February 16th, 2016. The first trip, West Time was closed by the time they got there, so they stayed in a motel that night. Now, Dent had court in the morning, so he couldn't attend the show. So again, this fully put Tiny Bogey with running the shit under GI supervision. Now, the young dudes from Hoover get up in there with E-Mac and lay the security down and strip him of his revolver and got him out the way. It was 3 people total entering the store, and the operations manager was training the new employee at the time. These dudes popped in. He turns around. It's a gun in his face, and he's being asked if he want to die today. And in total, they hit for 18 Audemars watches, totaling approximately $575,000. And some more cookie crumbs were left on the scene. A yellow hard hat, a sledgehammer, and a baseball cap was left behind, and police hit it with the DNA kit, also known as the Bold kit. They swabbed all them pieces of evidence and took him in. Now, ATF Special Agent Ryan Stearman is at home sick February 17, 2016, when the LA County Sheriff's deputy hits his phone. He'd been telling people if they see anything about these robberies, tap in with him regardless. He don't want to overtake it. He just want to assist. This is what the sheriffs did, tapped into his phone as soon as West Time was hit. He jumps into the car and rushes to the scene. And when he gets there, he learns sheriff deputies apprehended a 22-year-old dude from Hoover named Pancho, who crashed his getaway car, another stolen Chevy Tahoe. Now, when he sat down in that room, Pancho immediately admitted to being inside the store and being the one that bagged the watches up. When Stearman...
Oh, Pancho? Oh, no. He immediately admitted to being in the store and bagging up the watches. See? And this is part of the crew that they had prior that had went in there, hit the windows with the sledgehammer, the glass cases, whatever, with the sledgehammer, and then got cold feet and ran out and left the sledgehammers. These were some newer dudes that they had just recruited, this and that. And again, the other crew came behind them and went on and hit that lick and came up. But these individuals, he's 22 years old. He don't even know how to drive. Or they get nervous, he wreck the car, getting up out of there, and now he get caught up. This is when you got too many people, there's too many chances for you to get caught up. Because the more people involved, the more of a chance you have of someone saying something or someone doing something stupid on the lick that's going to get everyone caught up. Now, he admitted he had gone inside the store and bagged the stolen watches. When Stearman asked who put him up to it, he said he was no snitch. I'm willing to sacrifice. Okay. He said he was no snitch. Well, hell, you shouldn't even admit it to that you went in the store, first of all, that you bagged it up. Because they got on hoodies and masks and all this sort of stuff, even if they got it on camera. But perhaps they found something in the car and he couldn't really deny it. I don't know. But okay, so far he says that he ain't going to snitch on who was with him. Let's see if he continued on with that.
Asked him who put him up to it. He said he was no snitch. And I quote, he said, I'm willing to sacrifice. Now, after Stearman pressed on him, he said this was the ATF investigating a federal crime in conspiracy to interfere with interstate commerce by robbery. He said most of West Time's jewelry and merchandise comes from Switzerland. This is why it's now a federal case. And Pancho is playing with the big boys, looking at least 15. Stearman pulled the violin out and started talking about how them niggas don't care about him, how they already forgot about him, how they was gonna leave him inside. Pancho started crying. He said it was all planned, but it wasn't planned by him. And he said he was recruited by none other than Justin J. Stone Henning himself. And you know, this put a smile on Ryan Stearman's face that day. Because when he looked up Justin Henning, he found them Inglewood family gangster blood connections. And he showed Pancho a mugshot. Henning's face was pointed out.
Damn, man, somebody he hit him with the violin. He started crying, bro. 22 years old. He's a killer on the street, though. A killer when he running into these stores doing this stuff. They putting guns to people's heads, asking people, do you want to die today? They threaten them with sledgehammers, busting out everything in the store with sledgehammers. And then when the stuff hits the fan, when it goes bad and you get locked up, I'm no snitch. I'm willing to sacrifice. What happened to that? What happened? What happened to that fast? They didn't threaten you with a life sentence. They said 15 years. You're not going to do all of that. You can probably get it down. And that's just the worst case scenario. Perhaps you can beat the case. Whatever. Get the deal down to 3 years, 2 years, 5 years. You're 22 years old. I understand no one wants to go to prison. Don't be out here committing the crimes then. Because if you are, then don't snitch. Don't snitch.
Out in that room that day. Now, going through Inglewood family's history, they were able to link J. Stone to Keith G.I.'s Walton and the Crenshaw Manchester terrorists, the CMT gang. And also, another one of Stearman's informants had also put a former professional baseball player named Darrell Dent Jr. on Stearman's radar. And now they started getting traction. But back after the West Time robbery, these dudes meet with the buyer, sell these Audemars.
So he wasn't even on the radar. That dude Dent was a former, you'll know from part one, was a former Major League Baseball player. So he should have already been rich. But he was reportedly, allegedly scamming people on the team, his baseball team, scamming people and getting into it with people, all of this sort of stuff, and got kicked off the team. Man, those baseball players making a lot of money. He'd have been filthy rich, even if he wasn't a great player, was a bench warmer or whatever. Came off, wasn't that great. He still have been rich, getting way more money than doing this stuff here. He went from being a Major League Baseball player to stealing Rolexes.
Make about 60 racks. Not only did that dude from Hoover go down, they were also caught on camera the evening prior doing the scout and pulling the door to see if the doors was open. Those females that Tiny Bogey had enlisted to scout. Now, Emac was upset because he felt like he was getting less than some other people when he was putting more work in. Again, Emac is going in there, busting a gun, stripping niggas of their gun, playing the muscle, and doing some heavy lifting, not just grabbing the watches. So he's upset about his take. But that doesn't stop them, because 3 days later, they end the Glendale Galleria at Bendy's Jewelers. Now, G.I.'s Dent and a female scout had put their eyes on this location, and they was looking for Rolexes. Now, they had everybody together. Widget was back on the play, E-Mac, J-Bone, J-Stone, Tiny Bogey, and now they had these two new little players coming off the bench. Tiny Bogey got his little homie Junior Bogey, Wilson Alima, aka F-Nut, 24 at the time, Inglewood Family Gangsta Bloods. And they got a dude named Shane Lewis, aka Hangout, who was also 24 at the time, from Inglewood Family Gangsta Bloods. So they assembled a team, they did all their scouting, did everything properly, but they were initially worried about the security guard. Now, Bogey bought the strap to the play. Junior Bogey and Hangout was supposed to run inside. You know, the young dudes. E-Mac was back in control of the weapon. Dent went back on his own word, drove his motorcycle to the play. But when they was just about to run in there, they did one final look through. There was an armed security, mall security, and a lone police officer in the mall. They called it off. And all the while, some shit was going on the under with G.I.'s Walton and his lawyer. While Ryan Stearman is gathering evidence, putting his shit together on the IFGs, Keith Green Eyes Walton and his attorney request a meeting. The attorney said Walton, who was facing a federal gun possession charge, hoped to reduce his sentence by providing helpful information about other crimes. And that was corroborated because GIs also went to Daryl Dent and told him, hey, give me the full names of the people that were involved in the Century City robbery, where they hit for $1.6 million on August 24th, 2015. Remember, GIs was in the federal custody at that time. He was looking to leverage that case and the people in that case to get his gun charge sentence reduced in the feds. Dent gives him the name of Dominic Calloway and names everybody else involved. He told Dent right there that if he needed to, he was gonna snitch to get his time cut. Ryan Stearman said he sat down with GIs as well as an assistant U.S. attorney, Scott Tinley, and they said GIs was in there arrogant. GI spoke about the track star robbery, said he used to do it. He was laughing about certain people being torpedoes, and he spoke about some crimes that happened. When he got back to Dent, he told him they grilled him hard. He was sweating bullets, and he told Dent that the feds bought his name up. Now, the feds caught on to what he was trying to do, because on February 29th, the armed robbery of Ben Bridge in Torrance in the Delamo Mall at 10:30 in the morning went down. GIs was using his conversation with the feds as a distraction and as an alibi to separate himself from the robberies. So before the play went down on February 29th, GIs calls Dent, tells him come down to his pop's tow yard to run the play from there. He wanted himself and Daryl Dent to be away from the play and let Tiny Bogey lead everything.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you can't trust no one in this game. This is the leader, basically, right? This is the shot caller. This is the individual who has essentially assembled the crew. This is the individual getting most of the money, Green Eyes. This is the one that kicked the one individual off because he thought that he had taken one watch, kicked him off the crew, expired his contract. This is the one that told them to bring the jury over to him because he wasn't willing to accept $35,000 and then told him take it back. That's good. This is him, Green Eye. You never trust a boy. You trust these light-skinned dude, these green eye. Never trust a light-skinned dude, these green eye. I'm telling you. No offense. But you gotta be careful. He's setting everybody up. And he just got a gun charge. He's trying to get out of a gun charge. These dudes out here doing all of these robberies with guns, at least one or two of them going in there with a gun, divesting the guard of his gun, putting guns to people's heads, this and that. They got guns too, and gun charges coming, along with a host of other charges when they get caught up with the stuff that you got them doing. They're doing it themselves, they're grown men, but you have assembled the crew, allegedly, and you're planning out the robberies, allegedly, You're sending them on these licks, allegedly putting together who's going to do what, who's going to drive. You doing all of it. And then turn your back on your own crew that you helped put together over a gun charge, over a gun case. How much time are you facing, man? They facing a lot of time. How much time are you facing with a gun charge? I understand no one wants to go to prison, not even for one day. Stop committing crimes then. Stop snitching.
He said they was gonna sit in his pop's office, and he gave Daryl Dent the videotape of them in the office to prove as an alibi of them not being involved in this armed robbery. And the thing is, G.I.'s put this play into motion. His homie Tommy had told him this spot looked good, and a lot of the planning was done at G.I.'s house. G.I.'s essentially was setting these dudes up because he did not make anybody aware other than Dent of him talking to the feds and them being onto everything that's going on. Now, amidst the planning, he had people put in money for them to go fetch a stolen car, and they planned Ben Bridge looking for some Rolexes. Now, again, Tiny Bogey being the lead, he appointed everybody to their spot. Hangout Lewis was going inside the store. Another dude coming off the bench, Av Boy from Inglewood Avenue, Pyru. Scott, E-Mac, back as the gunman, going inside the store with Hangout. This time, J-Bone was gonna be the last driver to collect the merchandise. J-Stone was gonna be the backup driver, secondary on the play. And to go in with Hangout and E-Mac, they needed one more little homie, Bully Badass, also from Inglewood Family Gangsta Bloods, 21 at the time. Now, he thought he was gonna be a driver. It was sold to him by J-Bone that he was gonna be driving. When he met up at the spot with Tiny Bogey looked at him and said, boom, you going inside. And this is what I mean by them dudes sending their little homies. Now, again, this play happened on February 29th. It was supposed to go down February 28th, but when they got there, E-Mac said it didn't look right with the security guard. Tiny Bogey pressed these dudes. His little homie was trying to get out of it. He was calling him a buster for not wanting to participate. And he said, what's the difference of security being there today? Because they're going to be there tomorrow. Eventually, they called it off for that day, and they popped back up February 29th. So they pop in the store. E-Mac pistol whips the security guard and drops him, drags him into the store. The employee watches the whole thing. They lay him down and try to strip his watch off his wrist. It wouldn't come off, so they put the gun to his head, had him take it off. And they ended up coming up on 30 Rolexes and a bracelet worth approximately $450,000. But they also left some more shit at the scene. They dropped the sledgehammer. Police collected it into evidence. Now, after this robbery, they get out and they do the switch.
So pretty much at every robbery, you know, if you were watching again from the beginning in part one, they are dropping evidence at nearly every crime scene. They dropped their blood. They left their mask multiple times. They left sledgehammers multiple times. They are leaving a trail, but it doesn't even really matter. It doesn't even really matter at this point. But that's going to happen. You're rushing, your adrenaline going, you're trying to get out of there. You just got the 30 Rolexes. You know, you're not even thinking about the sledgehammer anymore. You just put it down to grab the stuff out, and now you got the stuff. You just run out and leave the sledgehammer. This is clearly what's happening. Well, this is oftentimes evidence. Of course, they have cameras and everything else, but it doesn't even matter with this situation in this crew. Their leader, the individual who assembled the crew, is snitching. He set them all up. The feds already know everything that's going on. He's telling them everything now. They don't have to do no investigation. They don't have to figure out anything. They know everything. Thanks to this individual who has no scruples whatsoever.
Car at the Torrance Marriott. There was an individual at the Torrance Marriott parking lot that had watched them do the whole switch, and he felt something looked off. He seen the tires screeching, niggas talking about go, said it didn't look right, and he calls the police. Now, Junior Bogart is driving. He got Bully Badass and Hangout in his car. He pulls over, switches his plate. He had the paper plate on, put his real plate back on, and they got in the wind. Now, as they driving, Ryan Stearman is on their way to the scene. They locate the getaway car and find a handwritten note inside with hood names on it. Bully Badass, Matt, Lil K.O., Hangout, Nate, It was found inside the getaway car with each dude's phone number on it. And they end up catching up with Junior Bogey's car, and Bogey, Hangout, and Bully Badass go down. Now, as soon as that happened, GIs told everybody to block them dudes' number, block Junior Bogey number, stop communicating with him. And shit started to go bad between all these dudes, with Junior Bogey changing his name to CWC, Bully Badass changing his name to CWB, and Hangout changing his name to CWA. Confidential witnesses. And it was for sure gonna be bad anyway. As soon as Junior Bogey got to the county, he's calling J-Bone phone and is talking too much. Them niggas had to ask him, why you keep calling? And you gotta feel for that. You gotta understand. If you go down and your homies don't go down, stop calling. Don't be calling niggas' phones. For what? It's one call to somebody who was not associated to the situation. See if you can get bailed out, whatever. Don't call your homies that were with you on the play when you go down or if you go down. And they didn't go down. Junior Bogey's on his phone all emotional and shit, asking if he's gonna be good and telling niggas I love you and shit like that. Hey man, chill out. J-Bone was telling him his big homie was acting funny because...
Oh man. Bro, these dudes are not gang. I don't know who this dude is. Where he from? I don't care. I don't care. I don't care who he is. He can be from Hoover. I don't care. Holla at me. These dudes are not gangster, bro. They're not. Oh, my God. They're not gangster. They're acting like they are out here on the street. They all gangster when they running up in here and when they running around the street, shooting up people, shooting up black people, beating up black people, gang banging and all of this. Got these killer names. Running up in here, going, smashing up shit, going crazy. Everybody's a gangster. Till you get caught up, now you're in a jailhouse, fighting for your life. Now you're a little biatch. Now you're calling home crying, talking about I love you. What the fuck is wrong? Man, get your ass off. Bro, don't call my phone. What type of stuff is that? So we done did this together. You got caught. I did not. I'm still at home. I'm right here. I'm chilling. I hate the fact that you went down, that you got caught, but that's the risk we run. Someone might get caught. All of us might get caught. Someone might die when we on these kind of missions, running the store, security guard, come out with his stuff, bow, pop somebody before we can pop him back, whatever. Understand the kind of mission that you're on. It's not all fun and games. It seems like it at the time. This stuff is serious. And you get caught up, now you want to go in there and start crying. Talking about I love you. Am I going to be okay? Are you? Be strong. You'll be just fine. Shut up. Stay off the phone. Do not get on the phone. Damn sure don't call your mama, and that's it. Don't call me. Don't call no homies. Don't call no one that was involved in this stuff. Don't call someone that you know that committed a robbery 30 years ago. For what? What do you want to talk about? What you asking me these questions for? Am I gonna be okay? Bro, you a gangster, ain't you? Yeah, you're gonna be all right. You a gangster, aren't you? You good. Just go in there, keep your mouth closed, be strong, and don't say, I've seen individuals in this sort of situation a million times. Ain't said nothing. It's individuals that went to prison for stuff that they didn't do. They homeboy did it. And they know who did it. They know their homeboy killed that dude. And it wasn't them. And they just, suck it up and live with it. Because they're men and they ain't about to snitch. This dude here. Weirdo.
Because that was at the direction of Green Eyes telling niggas to block their numbers. Don't talk to them dudes. They went down. They the young homies. They probably gonna go bad. This is big. He already knew. And on the other end, Bully Badass stated that he felt that Junior Bogey was gonna start cooperating based on how he was breaking down in the car when they was getting pulled over. He said, I need to beat this dude to it. He start cooperating and he's sitting in the room with Ryan Stearman. Stearman say Bully Badass looked terrified. He said he didn't know too much, but Hangout knew a little bit more. And once he realized he was facing federal time, he named Tiny Bogart as the individual that recruited him. They talked about ball.
He looked terrified. Dude said he looked terrified. What happened to all that gangster stuff? So you mean to tell me everybody snitching? That's what it looks like. Is everybody snitching here? That's what it looks like. It looks like everybody is telling. Let me be careful. I don't want to say everybody. Maybe someone stays strong in this whole little crew here. They named a lot of names, and I'm just saying everybody snitching. My bad. Damn near everybody snitching. No, hell no. All these dudes snitching. Everybody snitching. You fucking rat. All these dudes ratting pieces of fucking shit. Doing all this tough shit. Bro, I done been locked up. Those who don't know, I've done over 30 years of incarceration. Ain't no snitching. I done had crimees and all that too. And I got caught and they didn't. Swear to God, this didn't happen a couple times. My big ass, they can just identify me. My big dumb ass keep going down. These dudes out there chilling ain't sent me a package. Nothing. A letter? Nothing. But I didn't cry about it. I always go in there and do my time. And people go years without hearing from me. When I was doing my time in prison, not my family. We communicated every day. But everybody else, they wouldn't hear from me for 5 years straight. I'm doing my time. I got time to do my time. Y'all, I see y'all when I get out. Dudes in there crying. Game is not the same, boy. These dudes ain't built like that. Or weak ass, soft ass dudes, man.
GIs. And Stearman knew it was a green light once they dropped GI's name. But they wasn't done yet. Now, just because them dudes went down, again, like I told you, they separated the merchandise from the runners. They went down, the merchandise didn't. They ended up selling that work. Bully Badass and Junior Bogey were never paid. And when he got on the stand, he felt like he was being used as some bait and a pawn. And he was scared because he was facing a mandatory of 7 years. So they ended up selling them Rolexes from Delamo Mall for
7 years
and split it up.
He was facing a maximum of 7 years. It's not that 7 years is not time or a lot of time. 7 days, 7 hours inside of that jail cell is a long time. It is miserable. It is miserable. Every moment of it, it's miserable. 7 years is a very long time to be sitting in someone's jail cell. But it's not a lifetime. It's not 70 years. And these individuals are young. You can do 7 years. You can do 5 years. No, you don't want to. I don't want you to. But don't be committing crimes. You committed the crime, you can go in there and walk off 7 years. 5 years, you're going to end up doing 5 years. 4 and some change, whatever. I'm saying they acting like they facing 1 million years. They doing all this snitching and all this. Like it's either this or their life. If I don't snitch, I'm about to get life without the possibility of parole. No, you're facing 7 years. The other dude got a gun charge. Green Eyes, you got a gun charge. How much time are you fucking facing? To where you got to snitch on everybody. Oh my God. This is the selection that the women got to choose from. I see why they turn into each other. You might as well, because if you with one of these dudes, it's the same as being with a female. It's the same thing. They ain't got no masculinity. Yeah. They ain't nothing like the big fella. Yeah, I said that. I'm going to let my nuts hang. I can do that. I stayed down. I didn't tell on nobody. People went home and I did not. I'm the only one went to prison. and didn't call crying one time, didn't call their phone one time, even asking for anything. Like they owed me something because I got caught and they didn't. Send me a package, bro. You know what's up. Yeah. Or else, like holding it over their head, like low key. Send me a package, bro. Bro, what's up with that package? You know what's up. How's your freedom been the last 5 years that I've been here in prison? Oh, you've been enjoying yourself, huh? All right, cool, man. You sent that package yet? Oh, man, these dudes, weenies.
Dent met J-Bone and got the watches off him, and this is when J-Bone told him that Junior Bogey got picked up. But they wasn't done. They was low-key far from done. So that was February 29th. March 9th, they back in Canoga Park at Ben Bridge. Again with the pistol, hammers, they hit for 36 Rolexes worth $600,000 and threw out the tracking device, which was found by LAPD. Right after this, Junior Manchester goes down for his DNA that was found all the way back on October 18th, 2015 in Mission Viejo. And 4 days after this, J-Bone, who's still operating outside, spearheads the team for another West Time jeweler in Malibu. Now this time, the vehicle of choice, white Kia Soul. They got Evan Emax Scott back on the play. This time he's back with the pepper spray, not the pistol. And the same operations manager that was training that employee at the other West Time, where they asked him if he wanted to die, he also was the operations manager of this West Time in Malibu. So when they jump in the store, Emac pepper sprays the shit out of the employee again. He's screaming on the phone with the operations manager, telling them that they being robbed. He was the only employee in the store. And this was sloppy on West Time. He probably could have sued West Time, because if you know this get down, retail stores can't open with one individual. You got to have a dude that got the keys, and you got to have somebody else. That's protocol. Now, I don't know if that's some newer shit. This was 2016, but he shouldn't have been the only employee in the store at that time. But they threw his iPhone in the trash, and they had some more females as lookouts on this one. The females had walked inside of a bikini store, which was the only other store open at that time. And after it all went down, the employee in that store said she felt like that was a throw off and they were distracting her from the robbery. Now, to go in with Evan Scott, J-Bone had also recruited somebody who ended up being confidential witness G, unindicted co-conspirator. And you see how shit's starting to close in. That dude was only paid $1,000 when J-Bone told him that the watches came back fake. They getting over on niggas and doing bad work. But that's because J-Bone went in as well with Emac, got his hands dirty. And they got off with Breitlands.
The watches came back fake. Bro, what are you talking about? Who are you playing with? Them things up in that jewelry store, they're not fake. They scamming. What you give me $1,000 for then if the watches came back fake? You don't owe me nothing. You just paying me out of your pocket? Here, man, you went with us. Here go $1,000. Even though I didn't make nothing. Here goes some of my money. Oh, man. See, he doing bad work, doing bad business, cheating these dudes. The one dude was supposedly got $7,000 and ended up getting nothing one time. He ended up talking, and these dudes ended up snitching because they didn't get nothing out of it. They find out that these dudes were playing them the whole time and all that. Not justifying snitching, though, because you just shouldn't be doing it. You still shouldn't snitch, period. But they working these dudes, man. This is the crew. Man, do something by yourself, with your brother, maybe your best friend. That's it. Don't take 50 people, 2 people. But don't do nothing at all. But I'm just saying, so you got to be down with someone that you know will never tell no matter what the situation is. And you know that you will never tell. Y'all good. Y'all know that y'all going to be good no matter what happens. Dealing with all these people you don't know like that. I don't care if you know him a little bit from you hang out in his hood, he hang out in your hood, because a lot of these dudes from different hoods. Oh, man, hell no. Hell no.
Frank Mueller's, Audemars, Omega's, Hublots hit for $1.4 million over here in Malibu. Now, Evan Scott, he was confronted by J-Bone and Dent. He keistered a watch. They was on him because he took too long to hand the bag over at the meetup. Shit went bad, and they got handled on the back end, only making a total of $45,000. Dent met up with GIs in the black Range Rover. and Dent said it's time to.
What? 45,000? What? Man, that's out. No way. No way. No way I would be doing this, bro. Again, this is for entertainment, information, and educational purposes only. This is certainly not to encourage anyone. This is how not to rob. This is why not to rob. He has a title, How to Rob. This is how not to rob, especially jewelry stores. They just had, he said they got 1.6 million worth of jewelry, 1.4 or 1.6. And it comes out to $45,000 out of $1.6 million. You don't even get 100,000 out of 1.6 million. You don't even get 50,000 out of 1.6 million. You get 45,000 between 4 and 5 people. Out of 1.6, man, hell no.
The fire E-Mac from Carver Park, Compton. His contract gotta go. And everybody had tension with E-Mac after that. And by this time, with all these people snitching and going down and doing funny shit, they pinged Baldy's phone at one of the towers near 3 jewelry stores at the time each one was being robbed. And Stearman could see all the suspects were talking to one another on the days of the robbery. This is when he started putting up pole cameras on people's houses, watching their movements. And G.I.'s, who was eventually told he needed to turn himself in to the feds in May, said he needed some more victories. He needed more successful heists, and that's where these dudes get cracking 3 weeks later, again in Santa Monica at Ben Bridge. Now, Dent planned this with Tiny Bogey and G.I.'s. Again, G.I.'s knew they was going down. He just needed some tuck money. I don't think he knew they was on to him about the jewelry store robberies. He was too worried about his gun sentence. Now, Junior Bogart went bad. Tiny Bogey brings in his lady homegirl, Lady Bogey, as well as Brown Eyes again, and some new players, Vincent Haynes and Brandon White. Lady Bogey requested to be the driver. Tiny Bogey, the final bag man. Haynes was the walker, but he was hesitant. You know how these young niggas be. They want to do the driving, they want to do everything but go inside that motherfucker. Tiny Bogey not having that. He sent Haynes' ass right up in the store. Haynes tried to call in sick, said he didn't want to do anything while he was sick. G.I.'s begged him to participate, then called him a bitch for not being with it. Then he shows up on training day. Brown Eyes is the one that recruited these dudes, and Brown Eyes grew.
Oh man, they getting pressure and all. Okay, I'm just a bitch then. The hell? You a bitch. The hell? I'm sick. I ain't doing it. He changing his mind. This dude pressuring. Oh, you a bitch. He really the bitch. Oh, light-skinned, green-eyed ass motherfucker. And he snitching the whole time. Fake ass pretty boy. What the hell? You let him pressure you because he called you a bitch? No, you a bitch. And that's it. Continue on with your life. Go out and have lunch with your girl. Call that off. You say you wasn't going, stand on that. Because this dude that's calling you a bitch, he's snitching on you the whole time. It's a setup. He's trying to get some more money. Already know the whole operation is going down because he didn't gave up the whole operation a long time ago to get out of a gun charge. These dudes have no moxie whatsoever. Never do anything with no dudes like this. These dudes ain't no gangsters. Man, that's out.
Girlfriend was also a driver on the play. Now, since these were new players off the bench, GIs gave them instruction on how to do it. They want to hit the display case from the inside, not in the front or the top. You got to jump the counter because the glass is most vulnerable where the sliding door is. They hit for 24 Tag Heuer watches worth $67,000. And this was officially the end of their run. They were arrested, leaving the location. April 24th, 2016. J-Bone goes down. Again, his DNA was found all the way back from their first move, August 3rd, 2014, where he left his left glove and his mask. His left glove had a DNA on the interior. The mask had the DNA on the back. He set up in that room with Detective David Rodriguez and kept it solid. Walton turns himself into the feds in May for his case, but June 16th, ATF and FBI start kicking in doors. They took down Daryl Dent, June 16th, 2016. They took down Jay Stone, who was staying on 78. When police got his phones, they said they gotta put these phones in airplane mode. That's how the IT department wants it, so nothing can be altered before the IT department gets the phones. After all that money, he had $1,400 left on him. Dent, $0. Stanley Baldy Ford also went down June 16, 2016. Kenneth Paul, Brown Eyes, isn't arrested until November 7th. The cookie fully crumbled over here, and it was over because when GIs thought that he was gonna have to say something, Daryl Dent beat him to it, turned state's witness, cooperated on the stand. When Keith G.I.'s Walton, Robert Tiny Bogey Johnson, Justin J. Stone Henning, Evan E. Max Scott, Jameson J. Bone LaForest, and Jeremy Widget Tillett took it to trial. Them young dudes also took the stand. Junior Bogey, Hangout, Bully Badass. Dent cried on the stand. He was facing a mandatory minimum of 107 years. Federal agents moved his mom and his girlfriend and wrote a check to the new leasing office to get them out the way. When LaForest went down, they caught him on Google, asking Google how to invest money from the robbery. Tiny Bogey was trying to do all he could. He had stole a protective order document of one of the co-defendants named Fred Pittman, a random bench warmer. He had sent the note to a pastor and his mama, showing the paperwork and labeling him as a rat. He also sent it to his homies, and the paperwork was floating around the club saying Fred Pittman is a rat. But with Daryl Dent taking a stand, telling everything, man, he got GI's hit with 660 months. Probably will never see the light of day again. Stanley Ford, again, who was out for armed bank robbery, hit with 300 months. Tiny Bogey, 264 months. J-Bone ended up going down, getting hit with 272 months. Bones Calloway out of Compton, 72 months. Snoop Howard, 90 months. Junior Manchester, 120 months. Av Boy, 36 months. When she stepped in on one play, Lady Bogey, 12 months. Brown Eyes, aka Lil KO, 57 months. And E-Mac, again, the feds allege he did the dash June of last year. Now his plea agreement had an L in it. You know, he was strong arm and shit. These dudes was facing a lot of time. I don't know the specific number that he got hit with, but the BOP alleges that he is still on the run. Jay Stone caught a loop in the case. He wasn't found guilty of all the charges, and some federal prosecutors had messed up some paperwork and that did some funny shit in front of the jury. Jay Stone filed his motion, got his case dismissed, but he couldn't stop going down for other crimes after the shit. Since he was released from the feds, he caught a gun charge, went down for a murder. Most recently, October 2025, he went down for a DUI. All the while in the back end, the feds still trying to clip this dude. They basically tossed that full dismissal and told him he can have a retrial. So he has a retrial set for next month, February 2026, where he's still gonna be tried for these robberies because these dudes took the stand and implicated him in all his movements on the plays. And as you can imagine, Daryl Dent, ex-MLB player, came to the hood to fuck with some gangsters, ended up taking a stand on everybody. He chilling right now, not in federal custody. This how that shit play out, and this is what happened when the Inglewood family Gangsta Bloods put together a $6 million team getting cracking throughout LA, man. Y'all make sure y'all stay tapped in.
Yeah, wasn't really a $6 million team because even though they got $6 million worth of jury, they ended up with $60,000 altogether by the time all this stuff was fenced off. Nah, man. And then everybody's snitching on each other. Not everyone. A couple of them did end up staying strong, apparently, which was good to see. But man, a lot of them, as we can see, they broke down. They had many informants turn on, and then the main individual ended up snitching. GIs, who he called GIs, which is Green Eyes, wherever he's from, I don't care. He's the one doing all the telling. The one setting up everything and getting all the damn money. What is this? Rap news and street politics. Shout out. Good job, as usual, man. He be on it. He knows his stuff. Does his homework, and then he tells a story. Interestingly. Shout out to that brother, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Inglewood family bloods. Not just the Inglewood family Gangsta Bloods. All kind of Inglewood bloods, Hoovers, hell, gangster, all kind of people was involved in this. A whole little crew that started going down and start calling and telling and snitching and I love you, man, on the phone. I love you. You love me. Bro, what is this? You don't call me up. You love me. Am I going to be okay? Oh, my God. You got to be careful who you do stuff with, man. These dudes are not built like that. They just act like they are. Whew, that was bad. I'm going to have to go check out the other ones now. See if somebody, did anybody stay strong with any of these crews? It's not worth it, people. Find another way to get your money. There are many ways. That's not going to do it. Damn sure not for no jury. Might as well go cold guard cash. Hit a lick for 1.6 million. I want 1.6 million. I don't want 40,000. That makes no sense. You didn't hit for 1.6 million. You hit for 40,000. 45,000. Knock it off. Stay safe and stay free, people.